Hello, and welcome to the presentation, A View from Travel Advisors, where we discuss how to prepare to work with travel advisors in a post-COVID-19 world. While the world has been forever changed by the COVID-19 pandemic, tourism boards will find the information in this presentation very helpful in shaping your recovery strategy. When the world is ready to travel again, and it will, the core question will remain, how can you convince travel advisors to sell your destination among all of the destination choices that will be out there and eager for visitors? How can you set yourself apart from among all of the tourism boards vying for their attention? We hope this will open a conversation about best practices that will benefit all of us when the time is right. So let me start by introducing myself. I'm Amalia Malidi, and I'm the Managing Director of the Travel Trade Marketing Division at Development Counselors International. For the past 20 years, I've had the privilege and opportunity to help destinations around the world to connect them with the travel trade community in both Canada and the United States, with the ultimate goal of driving sales. Now, you might be wondering why I picked photos of myself on vacation with my family. I chose these photos for the very purpose of this webinar. You see, every year my family and I book a vacation twice a year, one in the winter and one in the summer. And usually the ones in the winter are to places that are warm and sunny. And this year we chose Mexico. But as luck would have it, like millions of other people around the world, we had to make a really hard decision and cancel our trip. But I am thankful for one thing. I'm thankful that we booked our trip through a travel advisor. If it weren't for our travel advisor, Carrie, who spent endless hours on the phone with the hotels, the airlines, the ground transportation companies to ensure we received a full refund, we would probably be stuck like millions of others working on their own to get what is rightfully theirs, their money. So this is a shout out to all the travel advisors working endlessly on behalf of their clients. Thank you. Thank you for all that you do. And because of Carrie, I have now decided that we would just postpone our trip and go next year. Here at DCI, we've spent nearly 60 years specializing in marketing places and worked on behalf of more than 500 destinations worldwide. With 4 offices in Canada and the US, our 60 marketers are at the top of their game when it comes to marketing places. Although this pandemic has certainly brought about challenges we could have never anticipated. In today's presentation, I'll talk about travel advisors in the US and Canada to shed light on how they operate and what they are looking for post-COVID-19. The findings will be useful to destinations like yourself looking to appeal to travel advisors in these 2 markets when it is once safe to travel. While some things certainly will change as a result of COVID-19, other things will remain the same. So we've taken the findings from a travel advisor study we conducted back in 2019 and overlaid them with findings from our travel advisor study conducted in the last month to craft this presentation. So why are we interested in travel advisors? It's important to understand their role in guiding consumer purchasing decisions. Since travelers don't systematically come to travel advisors with a destination in mind, there's ample opportunity for travel advisors to influence customer purchasing decisions. Only 22% of travel advisors report that travelers, their clients, approach them frequently with specific destinations in mind. For most travel advisors, there's more uncertainty on the part of their clients, and therefore more potential to steer the ship as they would like. This uncertainty is likely to be present tenfold in a post-COVID-19 world. As travelers turn to experts in the field to calm their anxiety about selecting a travel destination, they will want to travel. They may be open to international travel, but they will seek guidance on what destinations are likely to be, quote, safe. Travel advisors will continue to be the gatekeepers of what destinations are on offer, and you want to make sure they are favorable toward your destination. Our research shows that both US and Canadian travel advisors indicate that the main factor that influences what they promote to their clients is notably places they've traveled before. For destinations, this means that when you return to actively marketing to the travel trade in a post-COVID-19 world, you should start by working with your specialist agents who know and have a passion for your destination. The vast majority of travel advisors actually participate in at least one specialist program because it allows them to position themselves as authorities on a particular destination. With various requirements, training modules, and incentives to book, specialist programs are an effective way to partner with travel advisors to make sure they have access to all of the information they need while also promoting your destination. While not all travel advisors have engaged with a specialist program, most do report planning to join a specialist program this year, underscoring the value of such programs. In fact, 38% of travel advisors are still spending time informing themselves and focusing on continuing education programs. Even during this disastrous time for our industry, they're still looking. Whether it's dedicating hours to a specialist program or participating in webinars, travel advisors are continuing to invest in the future and in the destinations they sell. Interestingly, destinations ranging from regions of California to the islands of Tahiti are seeing some of their best participation rates in specialist programs and webinar trainings even during this pandemic. If you are a destination that is conducting webinar trainings right now, please keep in mind that webinars that are 45 minutes in length will be perceived as excessive. So aim for something a little shorter and just be sure to be respectful of the time frame that you advertise to these webinar participants. Unless you think that this jump in interest in specialist programs is only a result of the environmental conditions presented in a COVID-19 world, while it's true that many travel advisors have this unfortunate luxury of time right now, they have always deemed continuing education very important. Whether or not it led to more sales, destination knowledge is key to their success, even during a pandemic or not. Of course, beyond specialist training, we have events that are traditionally put on and very important for educating travel advisors about your destination. Pre-COVID-19, most travel advisors reported attending events in their home markets and learning about destinations during roadshows that brought the destination to the advisor's front doors. Now, according to our recent research, these sorts of meetings will still be important in both the US and Canadian market after COVID-19 ends, although less likely than webinar trainings to return quickly in a post post-COVID-19 world. Overall, travel advisors in the US and Canada are very optimistic that there will be a return to business as usual in the near future. Nearly 1/3 of advisors anticipate participating in destination sales events within their home markets as early as May. Nearly 60% anticipate participating in destination sales events either May or June. U.S. travel advisors are slightly more optimistic about the ability of being able to attend destination sales events in their home market earlier than Canadian travel advisors. Once travel advisors are again feeling comfortable in attending events, destinations have to understand that experience will drive travel advisor attendance. It's all about the event location at the top of the list of reasons impacting their willingness or ability to attend an event, followed by the specific information that will be presented. Again, advisors are looking to acquire knowledge, but there are limits to how far they will go to acquire it. Factors like the time of the year or the type of event are less pressing in terms of getting travel advisors' attention. Most US and Canadian travel advisors report that even though the type of event is not a top priority, certain events do work better than others to attract their attention and attendance. In general, dinners are the best type of events to host, whereas lunches and cocktail receptions are better secondary choices, with of course variations between both countries. Now, post-COVID-19, we do expect that the return to large group events will be slow, with more intimate events taking center stage for at least the first 6 months. So it may provide true that dinners remain the most effective medium for engaging with travel advisors while supporting local dining establishments. Regardless of the time of day, events should hit the sweet spot between 45 and 60 minutes. According to our research, that's what you want to aim for. Now, of course, you should add another hour for registration, networking, and then probably another half hour for additional networking after the core part of the program, which should be 45 to 60 minutes. So it gives enough time to establish meaningful communication without turning off travel advisors. It's vital not to disrespect advisors by seemingly wasting their time while also making sure you provide ample time to share enough information to make it worth their while to attend, especially if they are traveling within the region to get there. Of course, nothing beats a fam trip where they can immerse themselves into a destination. And of course, we anticipate that there will be pent-up demand for travel among travel advisors, and thus a growing interest in fam trips post-COVID-19. At this time, US advisors seem to be ready earlier than Canadians, suggesting that international travel is perceived as somehow more dangerous or riskier than domestic travel by Canadians. For US advisors traveling within their own country, 26% report being ready by June to travel, if, of course, it's responsible to do so. A large portion, however, is willing to wait until September, about 18%, so opinions seem divided. For Canadians traveling abroad to the US, there is less of a consensus, with a more even distribution between May and December 2020, although May and June seem currently unlikely. Unlike US advisors, The most popular time for Canadians is September, 19%, by a small margin. For marketers, it's clear that Canadian advisors would be best to address at least 2 to 3 months after US advisors for fam trips held in the US, once the crisis subsides. Of course, these months may shift, but the peaks and valleys are still indicative of when advisors will be more receptive to fam trips in the US, following the anticipated end of this health crisis. So both markets show a clear trend, echoing the Canadian advisors in the US when it comes to fam trips to international destinations outside of Canada or the US. There's no overwhelmingly best month to consider holding international fam trips, but both US and Canadian advisors report that they need more time, and with September being the most popular month, though only by small margins. June is second, but again, with the new information coming out all the time, research suggests that a more conservative approach with international trips between September and October, or 6 to 7 months from the end of the coronavirus health crisis, would be the most prudent approach. When travel advisors are ready to return to fam trips, the factors impacting their decision to participate may vary from what they have historically stated. However, the preferred length of fam trips will likely hold steady, and if there is a fluctuation, they are likely to become shorter in length. For a short-haul destination, both travel advisors in the US and Canada have reported that 4 to 5 days is the best length for the majority, while more Canadians prefer longer trips beyond the 5 days. For long-haul trips, Canadians traditionally preferred longer durations than advisors in the US, with trips longer than 70 days preferred by the majority of Canadian advisors. These are all important things to keep in mind, both when forecasting your recovery budget and when proposing fam trips to North American travel advisors. So in the meantime, before COVID-19 ends and the threat to travel diminishes, what should a tourism board do to prepare for the future? Well, based on our research, we recommend advancing your website platform. When it comes to sourcing information to the travel trade, the website becomes critical. Right now, travel advisors find tourism board websites to be the least helpful platform for answering their questions. Yet, 48% of travel advisors regularly consult with a destination's website, which means there is a disparity between what advisors need and what tourism board websites are providing. With websites being the top way travel advisors prefer to engage with a tourism board, as you have bandwidth because you're not on the road selling, it's time to think strategically about how to maximize your website's effectiveness for the travel trade. Rather than delving into an exhausting social media content creation effort, research shows that social media doesn't really matter much for the travel trade. What matters is your website content. Now, I do want to make a differentiation point here. If you are developing social media content for the travel trade professional so that they may use that content to promote your destination on their social media channels, then that is absolutely worth the effort. So I want to distinguish the difference. the travel advisor seeking information from your website, but not necessarily from your social media channels. That's more for inspirational content. And they would be more than grateful if destinations prepared social media content specifically for their needs, marketing needs. And as you're looking to readjust your budget, keep in mind the trade shows that were of greatest value travel advisors pre-COVID-19 are likely to be the ones in which they will re-engage most quickly. While US advisors head to local events, Canadian advisors look for specific tour operators or product companies and attend their events. Human contact, even through virtual trade shows, are likely to remain important to help travel advisors get back on their feet. So prioritize your consortium partnerships and make sure you are getting the most out of your ROI. Now, here are some words of comfort during COVID-19, and I hope this will help you get through today, tomorrow, but here are two that I felt were very personal to me and I wanted to share with you. So the first one is from the legendary poet Robert Frost, and he noted that there never was any heart of a leader truly great that was not also tender and compassionate. While the novelist and travel writer Robert Louis Stevenson observed that a leader keeps his fears or her fears to himself or herself, but shares his courage with others. I hope that helps you get through today. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions and would like to set up a time to talk, please feel free to reach out to me. Like many of you, I am working from home, so if you can reach me at my email listed on this slide, that would be great, and I would be happy to arrange a time for the both of us to talk. Have a great day, everyone, and bye for now.